Hello and welcome to my channel. My name's Tony Maritato and this is my origin story. So why did I do this? Why did I create this channel? Why did I become a physical therapist? Who am I? What's my background? I am a physical therapist right now. I am a private practice owner. We're gonna go way back. Back in 1993, let's start there. 1993, I graduated high school. I was supposed to go to a performing arts college. I grew up in Sarasota, Florida. I went to a visual and performing arts high school. I loved graphic design. I loved fine arts. I loved pottery. I loved all of it. I decided at that point that wasn't what I was going to do. I didn't want to go to college. I already spent 12 years in school. I didn't want to do any more schooling. I wanted to get out. I loved business. I've always been passionate about business. I was that kid on the street that would sell anything I could get my hands on. If I got fireworks in South Carolina, I'd sell them in Florida. I'd go mow lawns. I'd go wash cars, anything. I just loved the process of business. And so once I finally graduated high school, I said, I can't sit in a classroom anymore. So I actually had the opportunity to take over a landscaping nursery business. My family owned some commercial property. The tenant was the owner, the proprietor of a landscaping business, nursery. So he had owed us a bunch of back rent. He wanted to get out of the business. So in exchange, I came in 18, 19 years old and I took over the business. I knew nothing about plants. I knew nothing about landscaping. But I learned. We had a great guy that stayed on. He was part of the team. He taught me everything there was to know. I spent 2 years growing that business. And then I decided there's no way I was going to plant shrubs for the next 20 years. During that time, I had been involved in martial arts. I owe tremendous value to the martial arts community. I learned so much, grew so much, matured so much. And I decided I wanted to be a martial arts instructor. And in order to do that, open my own studio, I really needed a college degree. And so that's what triggered me to decide, hey, high school degree isn't enough. I'm going to go back. I enrolled at Penn State, got in about 3 years through, got my bachelor's degree in kinesiology. I did summers, I did extra coursework, I just blew through it. Once I graduated, I took a job at a local hospital outpatient PT clinic that was located inside a YMCA. That was my first exposure to physical therapy, and I fell in love with the profession. My mom had frozen shoulder, adhesive capsulitis. I was there watching her get treatment, and I said, this is amazing. I asked one of the therapists there if I could get a job, work there for a while. And then I said, hey, how do I start a physical therapy clinic? He said, well, you go to physical therapy school, get your degree. And I was like, I don't want to do that. That takes too long. So I worked for the hospital for about a year, got sick of it. I just couldn't affect the change that I wanted to affect. So then I left. I opened a personal training studio. It was originally called Siesta Key Personal Training. And for about a year, I was full-time personal training. But I realized that every client I was seeing, every client I worked with needed physical therapy. They needed more than just personal training. So I recruited the best physical therapist I knew at the time. She came in. I wasn't allowed to own any part of her physical therapy practice, but I helped her build and start the practice. Her practice was in my personal training studio. And after about a year, we grew to a second location. I enrolled in physical therapy school, master's degree down at Florida International University. I think I got accepted in 2003. I think I graduated about halfway through 2005 or maybe the end of 2005. And we opened a third clinic, right? We had 3 clinics down in Sarasota, Florida. Then we decided it was time for us to get married. This is the physical therapist that I recruited. We got married, we moved to Ohio, we opened 2 more clinics. So at our biggest, we had 5 clinic locations spanning 2 states. We started as self-pay cash only. we grew into being in network with all payers. We hired OT, we worked with SLP, like we had a full-fledged business. We took classes, we understood we couldn't be the therapist that everybody saw, so we had to build the business that was self-sustainable, not dependent on us. And our personal goals as business owners was we wanted something so that when we had children, we were able to step out of patient care, clinic involvement, because we wanted to be home with our kids. We knew that our kids were only going to be young for so long. We wanted to raise our family. We wanted to do it together. And so long story short, we had 5 clinic locations. We consolidated down to 1 in Florida, 2 in Ohio. We sold the Florida clinic to the guys that had been running it forever. They did an amazing job. They've just been incredibly successful. My wife stepped out of patient care when our first son was born. We have 4 beautiful boys today. She has been out of patient care. She still works in credentialing and in accounts payable, running the business. I couldn't do it without her. I still have a hand in the clinic. I still treat patients on a pretty consistent basis. I'm not full-time, but I do what needs to be done. I fill the gaps. We have an amazing clinical team. We have an incredible admin team. And again, the business wouldn't exist without the team in place. My job isn't to be the best therapist in the land. My job is really to build the best team I can build, and then to provide that team with a platform for success. So I'm blessed, I'm fortunate. That is where I come from. And now my mission, my purpose in life is to help clinicians, you already heard me say this, help clinicians just like you learn how to expand and share your knowledge, build your community, and leverage the technology that already exists out there today to make money online so you're not dependent on making money with patient care. Yes, you need to get paid for patient care. Yes, you're a professional. You want to charge what you're worth. But at the same time, I don't want any clinician in any healthcare field to feel like if I don't build this unit, if I don't treat that patient, I can't afford my mortgage, right? None of us went to school to live like poor, starving artists. Remember, I came out of art school. I know what that life is like. We went into school to become healthcare providers to help people. We don't want to confuse that with growing financial stability, security, and independence. So guys, I hope now that you know a little bit about me. I'd love to know a little bit about you. Post some information about yourself in the comments. Certainly nothing too personal, nothing too private, but I would love to hear where you're from, what inspired you to listen to this entire video. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel, like the videos, look for answers to your questions, because I am doing my best to build a library so you have the opportunity to learn from my mistakes. I've made more than enough mistakes for a lifetime. Hopefully I can avoid you from making the same. Guys, as always, I'll catch you on the next video. Thanks so much for your time.